For many people, DX Logistics is still best known as an express parcels and documentary delivery business. But under CEO Ian Truesdale, the company is undergoing a significant transformation. 1 year into his tenure as CEO, Ian joins us to reflect on his first 12 months in the role. We'll discuss the changing expectations of logistics customers, the importance of integrated services and strategic partnerships, investment in infrastructure and acquisitions, and how DX is positioning itself for its next phase of growth. Promises to be an interesting conversation.
Welcome to Logistics Business Conversations, the podcast exploring the ideas and insights shaping today's logistics industry. Featuring leading voices from across the sector, we examine key trends, emerging challenges, and the innovations driving the future of supply chains.
Well, hello, Ian, and welcome to Logistics Business Conversations.
Hello there. Thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure. Nice to talk to you. Now, I have to say congratulations on reaching your first anniversary as CEO. Looking back over the past year, what's kind of caught your eye? What surprised you perhaps a little bit about coming into the business?
Well, actually, the thing that surprised me a lot was just how complex our business is. We already delivered lots of different kinds of services for many different kinds of customers. And in fact, we have over 8,000 customers, some pretty large UK well-known brands, and, a lot of smaller customers. And actually what we're doing for all of those different customers is quite different and a little bit unique. So that was the first thing that surprised me the most, was just how complex it is.
8,000 divided by 365 means you haven't been able to visit all of them. I'm
No.
absolutely sure. So when you took on the role, what were your priorities that you identified immediately?
The first thing I wanted to do was actually get out and meet as many people in the US as possible. We have over 105 locations around the UK. We have over 5,000 employees, as well as over 8,000 customers. So I needed to get a real feel for the business. It was clear that in the logistics space in the UK, because the UK economy is not particularly buoyant at the moment, we faced lots of operational challenges to ensure that we maintain a very high level of service to our customers, but we're also very competitive. Our strategy is to accelerate our growth, and we could only do that if we had a really firm foundation. So that was my number one priority, establishing a really firm foundation in terms of the operational performance, the people, and how we were engaging with our customers, so that from that point on, we could develop an accelerated growth strategy.
So that was kind of effectively giving perhaps a bit of a benchmark to build from it.
Yeah.
And how has that priority evolved? Or would you say that you managed to satisfy that initial need?
So it's certainly evolving. We had to improve a number of things that I felt needed improvement. As a people business, we were very engaged with our workforce, with our colleagues, and with our customers, but I felt that we could do more for our colleagues. I need to start to develop programs that invested in their training and development. So that's something that we've been doing. And then also investing in better communications with our customers as well. So there was a lot of emphasis around, comms, internal and external.
It does sound to me, Ian, like people are very much at the heart of your business. You're not just chucking AI at it.
No, and I mean, technology is important, of course, but only if our people have the understanding and capability of using it and deploying it. We are looking at investing in new systems as well, but at the same time, ensuring that we're upscaling the capability of all of our people.
Yeah. Now, the heritage of the business is obviously in the express delivery sector. How has that developed beyond that, historically and also in the last year?
Historically, as you said, we developed an express parcel business. Prior to my tenure, we've started to expand into delivering heavier freight and also into non-network delivery services like contract logistics, warehousing, and dedicated transport. And the business continues to look at opportunities to enhance it with new services. The thing that I've been emphasizing a lot, and we're seeing real traction, is where we're starting to integrate some of these services together more into a complete fulfillment and delivery offering.
More unified than perhaps previous.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And customers would tend to come and buy just one service from us. Yeah. And of our 8,000 customers, probably in the order of 6,000 of them only buy one service. So there's a big opportunity to cross-sell and sell more of our offering.
So they may already be wanting their services, but maybe seeking them elsewhere.
Yeah, they go elsewhere, or in some cases they're still doing it in-house themselves. But it's complex for small businesses. It's complex when they're managing multiple providers. And actually, we give an opportunity of bundling an integrated offering together.
Ooh, can we still call it a one-stop shop? Or is
We-
that old-fashioned language?
We can. I was trying to think of a way of getting away from one-stop shop, but yes, yeah, it's true. It is, but it says what it does on the tin.
Single source supplier, and I guess then that drives efficiency through their business as well. If they're coming to you for multiple services, single invoicing, that sort of thing.
Exactly, and it also gives us the opportunity to understand much more about their broader supply chain.
Yes.
And then we can add even greater value, because it's really about the value that we're selling and delivering, not whether we're the cheapest carrier for parcels or the cheapest company for a warehouse.
I do see anecdotally as well that they want reliability, repeatability, trust.
Yeah.
Those things, care and service.
Yeah,
Very, very important measures. So, there's a lot of metrics out there that a company such as yours can be measured by.
Yes.
How do you balance all of that? It's a very difficult act. It's plate spinning, isn't it? A lot of the time.
It is plate spinning, and that's that is partly the nature of the industry that we're in.
Yeah.
It is quite unpredictable.
So
Lots of external factors,
stuff completely outside of your control.
out of our control. But it's actually trying to minimize the impact of that, creating and that's why, again, back to this integrated offering, providing greater levels of stability, predictability, and control can be done much easier when you're dealing with a single provider, and we can see more of the supply chain. But it's not, it's not easy, and there are always things that you have to react to, and that's one of the strengths I think that I've also, really appreciated in DX, is just how rapidly we can react to problems that we identify, how agile we are, and maybe compared to some of the much larger logistics businesses, we can actually still be pretty quick and pretty
fleet of foot, and
exactly.
able to dodge and swerve and replan and schedule.
That's right.
All those things. I mean, we're talking to somebody who thought it'd be a good idea to drive around the M25 on a Monday morning this week. So I know all about how things outside our control could throw down your best laid plans.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So what are the conversations you're having with your customers now that you perhaps weren't having 12 months ago?
But it is about some of the services and capabilities that we actually want to grow and expand into, and some of the things we've already launched. So we launched a same-day delivery service.
For what type of?
For all kinds of products
Right.
that our customers are typically shipping, either B2B, the businesses.
Pallet loads?
Yeah, even a full pallet. Yeah, absolutely. Same day, even a full pallet, or larger loose items.
Yes.
Anything that a customer, can say to their end consumer or their end business, actually, if you need it really quickly, you can have it on the same day. So we've introduced that new service, and that's growing quite quickly. But then also looking at more warehousing and fulfillment, and linking the warehousing and fulfillment through to our multiple delivery capabilities. So we're having those kinds of conversations with customers. Back to your point around a kind of a very unpredictable world that we're in, we're also having conversations with customers around how do we ensure an even greater level of stability and control, and basically give them one less problem to worry about.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
You touched on warehousing there. I mean, what does your physical footprint look like as a business in terms of your distribution of warehouses?
So we have about half a dozen kind of dedicated and multi-user warehouses at the moment, which is not large in comparison to some others, but we also have over 100 depots.
Yes.
And those depots and hubs, they can also act as storage for organizations that want forward stocking locations, FSLs, for spare parts closer to the end user.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're exploring those kinds of things as well. And we've got a number of opportunities in the pipeline where we would go and open 1 or 2 or 3 other warehouses over the next kind of 12 to 18 months.
Right.
So we have an expansion plan to support our growth in contract logistics as well.
Okay. Now, logistics business, we love a warehouse.
We did, yeah.
What's your automation strategy? You're investing in some of the latest technologies there?
Not yet, but we have a number of customers that already have employed automation in some of their warehouses. I've done quite a lot of that in the past, in previous roles.
Right.
We're certainly looking for opportunities where we can automate as much as we can, whether that's with AMRs or things like Data Store. And as a business, we're also looking at potential acquisitions of logistics companies where they have already deployed automation. So rather than necessarily building it ourselves, we may actually buy in that capability where we need to.
Yeah, that's a sensible strategy. But, infrastructure is one thing. What about the digital offering, the digital side of your business? I guess and there's also a marketplace where you have to compete strongly.
Yeah, we have to. And actually, we've probably been a little bit behind some of our competition in previous years. But we actually have a program and a roadmap over the next 18 months of significantly enhancing our investment in our digital capability. Obviously moving to the cloud, but also moving to the latest applications that can be easily integrated together. And it is ultimately all about giving our end customer or the end consumer a much better experience. And how that then translates into our back office infrastructure, back office systems to streamline a lot of the kind of transactional information, put it into a data cloud and have it easily accessible by AI tools.
So are we seeing a clear evolution from DX to DX logistics? Is that how we're known now?
Yeah, I mean, we rebranded our website.
Yeah.
As a group, we still refer to ourselves as DX Group. We are certainly positioning ourselves as a much more full service logistics business. Some people get hung up on the terminology. Anyway, having worked in this industry a long time, 3PL, 4PL, carrier, courier. Actually, fundamentally, we're a logistics company and we want our customers to benefit from a broad range of logistics services that we're offering.
I feel like that terminology just becomes a little bit more legible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially sort of post-pandemic, people kind of understand what it is now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And the importance of it to the economy.
I was at a very interesting meeting, like the annual conference actually of Logistics UK.
Oh, yes.
The industry body.
And some skills there as well.
It puts a lot of skills and development capabilities and the needs that this industry has as a foundation of the UK economy. And the number of people that are employed, I don't know the exact figure, but hundreds of thousands of people are employed in some form of logistics activity. One of the, if not the largest sectors of employment in
Absolutely
the
is.
UK.
Yeah, and one of the most invisible.
One of the most invisible. I often,
It all goes wrong.
yes. Well, that's the thing. I always say a fantastic supply chain is an invisible one.
Yes.
That's, when it goes wrong, then it becomes very visible.
Like your heartbeat too.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, what about growth for you, Ian? I know that historically DX has grown through acquisition. Where do you see your opportunities for growth lying?
So still a few additional acquisitions, I think, over the next 12 to 18 months, especially around that contract logistics fulfillment space. We do see organic growth within our core network delivery offering.
Referring back to what you were saying before.
Yeah, more cross-selling, but also new aspects. So we're looking at getting into certain sectors that we're not very strong in. For example, temperature-controlled pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
That whole temperature-controlled network delivery piece is something we're exploring and it requires investment, but it's an interesting sector for us.
It is an interesting sector, and I often hear that when the economy is not doing well, you still need to eat, you still need medicines.
Yeah.
Kind of feels almost inflation-proofed.
Yeah, exactly. And there are other sectors, of course, which are attracting significant investment in the aerospace and defense.
Yes.
Defense, very topical with the paper distribution published.
Yes.
And then also, other kind of more specialized services like hazardous, for example.
It sounds like, an expansion of capability rather than a growth in scale terms is the strategy.
Yeah, and one will feed the other because there will be undoubtedly new business that will come from expanding our capabilities.
Yes.
But, we're on a good trajectory. We're expecting kind of double-digit growth per year over the next 2 to 3 years.
Is collaboration in your lexicon?
It is, yes, collaboration both with technology providers. We collaborate very closely with subcontractors that we use on some of our networks, but also collaborating with some of the larger 3PLs. We've had a number of very fruitful conversations, and we are already used as a service provider to some of the larger global 3PLs. And as we expand some of those services, that just gives the opportunity for further collaboration and working together. Across the industry, I think we are better and more successful when we actually work together, rather than just trying to beat each other up over price.
Yeah. Do you see that particularly the case maybe in and around cities and urban logistics. I've had the misfortune of trying to drive a car across London. How frustrating must it be for a business that needs to deliver into urban and denser
Well,
areas?
it is very frustrating, especially as a lot of the items that we're carrying into central London tend to be a little bigger. I mean, we deliver 50% of our volume going into London is being delivered B2B to customers on the high street, customers in the retail parks and industrial estates. So you tend to be driving a larger vehicle. There's a lot of discussion around whether there's a much more coordinated approach to planning urban logistics in general, having larger consolidation centers outside of the cities, and then having fewer people actually just doing the final mile. That requires a lot of thought and probably would require legislation. And
Yes,
then politicians need to be very brave to tackle that kind of a topic.
they need to be made aware of what the challenges are. That's why we need to be visible to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And whether it's the climate change agenda and the problem with emissions, moving more to electric vehicles, that helps. But also just having fewer vehicles with more consolidated deliveries going into these urban areas will also help. Not only climate change, of course, but just reduce congestion on the way.
Yes, absolutely. At the risk of sounding like a couple of guys sitting on the sofa and reminiscing, it's fair to say you've seen a lot in your time within the logistics industry, and here we are in 2026. Just wonder if what have you seen the major changes? I imagine the fundamentals stay the same, just service, quality of service, speed of service.
Yeah.
But what else have you seen in terms of the big changes over the years?
Well, I think it is just businesses and consumers' appreciation of just the level of complexity and how, as logistics companies, we have to be and have become much more sophisticated.
Right.
I anecdotally told a team in a previous business that I was responsible for that I really didn't like logistics being referred to as trucks and sheds. Okay, maybe 25 or 30 years ago, that's what it was.
And it was, yeah.
But it isn't anymore. We see the level of sophistication, technology, and integration across the supply chain, orchestrating the supply chain, forecasting and planning, demand planning, and how that drives asset network planning decisions around capital. It's such a much more sophisticated industry now than it was 30 years ago.
Yes, it's cutting edge in many ways. Some of the robotics involved, some of the
absolutely.
like the IT software, the apps.
The nirvana of exploring autonomous vehicles and drone delivery and all of that kind of interesting stuff.
It's definitely a more fruitful environment for rolling out those kinds of technologies than they are out in the real world.
Yeah,
we could control a few more of the parameters around that. So a chance to push the boundaries a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, we can.
Times.
And customers are more receptive to the fact that requires more investment and requires a longer term commitment and a longer term and closer relationship with their service providers.
And I guess the sophistication of the industry is hand in hand with the expectations of the customer.
Yes,
one drives the other in a way. Yeah,
there's often
expectations today compared to 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's almost off the charts.
Yeah,
and some organizations, it's a push and a pull. Right? Some customers have been begging or asking, give me more innovation, where I'm not saying enough. Whereas, and then service providers, you have the opposite. Some of them are really on the kind of cutting edge.
Yes.
DX as a business, we've been a little bit of a follower until recently. But our plans over the next 12, 18, 24 months is actually to get much, much further ahead of what some of our competitors are doing.
That's something you've identified as a priority when you come in as CEO.
Yes. Yeah. Drive a much stronger innovation agenda.
Mm-hmm. What other technologies do you think that are starting to make a measurable difference at DX? Where are you investing?
A couple of things. So we're investing in much better forecasting and planning and optimization software, so that we're maximizing the utilization of all of our assets, our vehicles, our sites. Better planning around the deployment of all of our people as well, so that we're ensuring that we're being as productive as possible, but also maximizing service. There's a lot of work going on around that final kind of end consumer experience and how we're using data and AI to get a much cleaner and faster interaction with the end customer and consumer as well. That can feel a little clunky. So we're investing a lot in that area. And then opportunities to just enhance by adding new services that are linked to new technologies as well.
So there's a whole generation of young people. I'm sort of speaking from my son's perspective here, millennial, Gen Z, they're making very ethical choices when it comes to the delivery option that they choose when they're shopping online.
Yeah.
What can you say that you hope to be doing at DX to reduce the carbon that's consumed in getting stuff from A to B?
We have a very good sustainability strategy.
Uh-huh.
We, of course, need to challenge ourselves to do more. Some of what we do, unfortunately, is driven by the needs of our end customer themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, one of the things that I would like to see much more of is that our customers themselves offer the consumer, especially in the e-com world, actually offer the consumer more choice at checkout on which provider to choose based on a parameter, for example, like their carbon footprint or how sustainable that delivery
be. So it'll be a little chart. And would that also mean we'll give them the opportunity to pay a little bit more if they need to use it?
Maybe a little bit more, or just to delay it.
Pay a little bit less to have it delivered
2 days or 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
But allow us then to do more planning and better consolidation, so that the end consumer then can see that they're making a conscious choice on those kinds of parameters.
Yeah. Is this something that the technology does exist, but it's not necessarily implemented today?
You're right, it does exist, but the online seller, whoever they may be, the retailer or the e-com platform seller,
the onus is on them, I guess.
So the onus is on them, but also they need to put in place a little bit more sophistication, right? And DX is a business. I would love the opportunity to work closely with some of our customers on that. I mean, we've had some of those kinds of conversations.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the end consumer often does prioritize speed over anything else.
So that's the world we live in now.
The world we live in.
Guilty as charged, right?
But the Gen Zs, as you said, they do have a different mentality.
Yeah, it's changed.
And we'd certainly love to encourage them to do that.
So if I'm having this conversation with you 5 years from now, I know this is difficult, but what changes will you hope to have made within your organization? And how does the logistics landscape look 5 years from now? What's changed?
What's next in logistics? We're asking the experts. In our Crystal Ball segment, industry leaders share their predictions for the future.
I think just that level of overall kind of sophistication and complexity will continue to grow, but our job is to make it feel simpler, to make it a bit more invisible. So we're always managing as things get more complex. How do we try and streamline and offer a service to our customer that continues to improve and improve? I mean, I can imagine that more broadly, not only will the logistics sector have to be more resilient to absorb the various shocks that no doubt will happen in an ever-changing geopolitical, macroeconomic world, but also as a major employer, offering an environment and a career path that actually is really rewarding. So I mean, as an industry, I can see us really growing and developing in stature and our contribution, not only to our customers and the end consumers, but to the UK economy, and provide the great careers.
Great careers
for people. Yeah, but
wonderful to hear that. So just to conclude, maybe if I can make a football or music analogy here, it's the musician's difficult second album, or maybe the football team's difficult second season in the 100th division.
Yeah.
What does year 2 look like? Your tenure as logistics.
We launched our new strategy earlier this year. We have 7 strategic pillars with goals underneath them, to ensure that we're successful. Every strategy requires a little bit of course correction. So we'll be looking for year 2. Where do we need to course correct a little bit? Where are we seeing things opening up that we would accelerate? Where are we seeing things that are perhaps not going as quickly as we would like? We'll put more effort into those areas. And opportunities, which are often opportunistic in nature, by definition, being ready to respond to those, especially on the acquisition side of things. Actually, sometimes things come across your desk and you think, actually, that's not expected, but we'll jump on that, and just being agile to be able to do that.
Agile and open.
Yeah.
Ian, it's been a great pleasure talking with you. Thank you for joining us today and Logistics Business Conversations. I wish you all the very best for your future career.